So today I'm going to show you like 10 things, right? And first I'll start with like selection feature, like the most important thing anyone would do in Photoshop with select an object, right? How do we select an object and then we want to make manipulations? And if we have the Photoshop user, if or even you have ever used Photoshop, you'd say that, okay, selection is a big task, and especially with some complicated images like this lady. Her hair is like going here and there, and selecting this kind of the picture could be really challenging. But how Adobe Photoshop can help to get this work done quicker? So what I want to do is I'm going to like simply go ahead and create like this kind of a poster. And for that, what I want to do is I want to select this lady, this model who is there, and put it on top of this background. Maybe I'm working on a luxury ad. So how I'll go ahead and quickly create this kind of the output. So let's get started. So here I have this model, and now what I want to do is I want to quickly select it. So either what I can do is there are different ways. I can come here, and this is where we have our properties panel.
Is it just stuck for me, or is everyone else also?
No, it's stuck for me as well.
It is stuck.
Stuck for me as well.
Yeah, let me just ping her. I think she's having some connectivity issues. Just one sec. Oh, she's back.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. I think there was some connectivity issue. So I just turn off the video just to save some bandwidth here. Yeah. So here, like I selected on this select subject, and you can see that automatically this like lady has been selected, this model has been selected, but there are different other ways as well. So this is where like how I can do is I can quickly make this selection, and then I can just go ahead and click a mask out of it. Similarly, if I go like if I want to like maybe refine further, so what I can do is I can make use of this like object selection tool as well. And here, if you could see, like automatically this particular application is like running an AI based algorithm into the backend, and it is going to analyze this image. So here I have selected this particular model. And now what I want to do is I can come here and click on select and mask. And here I can just go and see like how this particular lady is going to look like. So maybe I have that particular background image, and I want to see this model on top of this. Yeah.
Darshan, just 1 second. I just want to point out. Team, the select subject feature has always been there. I mean, in Photoshop in the previous release also. What you will find new is that actually if you can just click on that on the top select subject, that there's an arrow right next to, just right next to that. Yeah. So here you'll see there are you get two options. So we noticed that for images, like for example, if you're really using a high resolution image and you have to make a selection, and I'm assuming most of you will be working with raw images or something that your photographers have shared. So what we're now, if you're in your office and or at home and you have a great network, then you could use a cloud-based processing option. So in that case, what happens is we upload all the pixels to the cloud, and then there we have a platform that can then process the result and then share the results back within Photoshop. So that, although, but the challenge there is that, it has to upload those pixels. So you have to wait a little bit until it does. Again, it's purely subjective, depends on what kind of internet you have. So, but in the past, you only could use cloud, but now you also have an option to compute this on your own system also. So in case you're offline, for whatever reason, I know it's very hard to imagine anyone being offline in today's day and age, but in case it happens, or you don't have a really good connection, or your image is very high resolution and it's taking way too long, so then you could also use the local desktop based method to process your selection. But the difference is that because the online option, it's an online platform, so we can keep updating it. We don't have to update Photoshop and all of that, because it's a SaaS offering. So in that case, you get a better result because it's got more access to our the learning modules from that it does from learning different selections and then improving itself. So if you want a better selection option, use the online option. But if you don't have, that should be your first preference. But if you don't have time, or you're looking at something, or you're offline, then you have no other option but to use the desktop one. So that's the difference. That's something new that wasn't there before. Back to you, Darshan.
Thanks, Guru. Yeah. So here, like I can see this particular model into the different like views. So here I can see the overlay, like on which area has been selected automatically. And if I want to like see her on the layer, so here I can see that this model, how this model is going to look like on this particular background. And if I want to like refine further, so I can come here and select on refine here if there are certain background. For this, like this image is going to look fine, but I'll show into another image how this particular feature goes ahead and refines the hair. And maybe like sometimes like the edges are not that smooth. So I can come here, I can change different slider, or maybe there is some color around her hair and you want to like remove that color and make it look more in regards to matching to the background. And now if I like check this box, you can see that there are certain like color changes into her hair. So this is where like quickly we can just go ahead, we can just make a selection of any object and then put it on top of a background. So this was about a quick selection, and let's look on this image where like we have this girl. And now what I want to do is I want to like go ahead and talk about some refine here. And here just wanted to talk about few settings. So what it will do is automatically when I open any image, it will just go ahead and find the object. So here what is happening is it is going ahead analyzing the entire image and finding like what are the different objects into the image. So if I want Photoshop to automatically go ahead and find the objects while I'm making changes or opening this picture, I can set to auto refresh, or if I want to use it manual. So these are some additional settings if you want to define what should be the overlay color and other things. So just wanted to point out. And now if I select this particular girl, and if I go into select and mask, and maybe here I'll just go and click on overlay and zoom in a little bit. So here you can see that there is some white area which is appearing, right? And it is, and this is not what I want. So here what I will do is just make use of this refine here option. And once I click on that option, you see automatically Photoshop has gone ahead and like deleted that area. So this is the kind of detailing like which this tool is capable of now. So now this was all about like select subject. And I'll quickly move on to the next feature. So any questions on this? Just feel free to drop it into the chat. Now let's look at like here we only had like one object, but what about like this kind of image where we have like multiple objects, and then what we want to do is we want to like find different objects and then like use it into another project. So maybe I'm working on this bakery ad, and what I want to do is I have like these object this picture of all the different kind of bread, and I want to quickly like select the different kind of breads from this image and put it into this ad. So how I'll quickly go ahead and do it. Again, like I'll come here, and here like automatically this particular image has been analyzed. You can see that automatically this thing has been done. But if it is not being done automatically, I can always come here and select this option as an object finder. And now what I have to do is just hover over on different objects. And the moment I hover over different breads, it's able to like identify that bread. And then what I can do is I can quickly select that bread and use it into my project. So now maybe I want this bread. So what I will do is just simply come here and select it. Maybe I want to add different objects into my selection. All I have to do is just shift click. And now these two objects has been selected. So I can just simply select here, and then I can like use this particular two breads, and then I can go back to my composition. So here, maybe I have these breads, and maybe I just want to put it here. So I just simply go ahead, select it, and paste it into this object, and like use it into my ad. So this was another way, and you can see the kind of refinement it is giving. Like automatically it has selected the edges of this bread, and it looks similar to what we have on this particular ad already. We just need to make few changes to its shadows to make it match to this original ad. So this was the two use cases where we can quickly select the objects from like one image where there is only one subject, and then refine it further. Or if we have multiple objects and we want to like select those objects, we can make use of this object selection tool and select it, and then use it into our composition. Similarly, if I open, like maybe sometime what happened is I'm working on something and I want to like make changes onto the specific area. So for this ad as well, maybe I'm working on this sauce ad, and now what I want to do is I just want to make changes to this bottle, right? All I have to do is just simply come here and just click on this particular object, and now this particular bottle has been selected. And maybe I want to like reduce the hue and saturation, make it look more and more like maybe soya sauce or some other sauce or mustard sauce. So I can just come here and make different changes into it and make it looking more in terms of the background. So this is where like I can quickly select the objects and make changes into it. So the next feature I want to talk about is how we can just go ahead and remove the background from any object, because definitely like removing a background is like a task which people would like to perform into Photoshop. And earlier, like it was a bit tedious task to go ahead, select different things and remove it. But now it's just a click away. So right now, what I want to do is I'm working on maybe yoga, ad, and where I want the picture of this girl, and I want to put it on top of some other background image. So how I'll go ahead and quickly remove the background is all I have to do is just open this image and make sure that this layer is unlocked. It is not locked. And here I'll go to like properties panel. And again, I have some quick actions. And here I'll just select remove background. And immediately like the background of this image has been removed. And now like what I can do is maybe I can get some background image, and like here we have this background image, and we want to place this model into this floor and put it into this particular room, and then I can refine it further. I can work on this kind of the work. But you would say, okay, in this particular like image there was only one girl. What about some complex images where you would have two or three people? So let's try something like that. Okay, so here this picture I downloaded it from Adobe stock, and here we have like five people. And now what I want to do is I want to remove the background. Again, I'll come to the layers panel. Here I'll make sure that the layer is deselected, and all I have to do is just click on remove background, and the background is removed. And let's work on some other different kind of images, like this image where there is a little bit of shadow, there is some dramatic background behind it. So let's see how Photoshop AI algorithm works on these kind of the images. Again, I'll click on remove background, and it's gone. Yeah. So now I just wanted to point out like some other complex images a bit more where we have a lot of people. So maybe I have this kind of an image, and I want to try the remove background where there is a lot of people and the objects into the background. And you can see now this girl has been removed. Photoshop has gone ahead and analyzed this lady, like maybe she is the one who is into the center, and it has removed all the people behind this behind her, and filtered out only this model. So this was a quick overview of remove background, like how we can go ahead and make use of this feature. So any questions, any thoughts on these two features? Do you think like it would be helpful, or any questions? Okay. So next feature, like I want to talk about is sky replacement. So how we can go ahead and replace the sky. So many times it happens as we want certain images, and in that image, the sky is not looking that great, right? Maybe I'm working on this kind of discovery days videos or some posters, and where I have the picture of these volunteer, but here the sky is not looking that great. It's just a white background. So how do we go ahead and replace the sky to make it much more creative? So for that we have this option. So what I have to do is just simply come here and go to this edit menu, and then I'll select on sky replacement. So this is again like AI powered feature, where what it does is it goes ahead, analyzes the images, detect the edges where the sky area is there, and then replaces it with another image. So right now here you can see that this particular image has been replaced with this kind of a sky. And if I want to choose some other skies, what I can do is simply come here, select different sky, and maybe this one is looking better. It is maybe matching to their t-shirts, and the sky is looking better here. So I can simply come here, select different sky images. But you'd say, like, what if I want to bring in my own image? So for that as well, I can click here, like select on this plus button, and from here I can simply select any image or any other image which I got, and then that particular image can be used to replace the sky. So if I want to like refine further, maybe I want to increase the brightness of the sky, I can come here, I can change the slider. Similarly, in some images maybe the edges are too sharp, I want to fade the edges, so I can just simply come here, drag it. Maybe I want to increase the temperature. So you can see into the background, the temperature is getting changed only to this particular sky. So similarly, like a lot of adjustments are there. I can output it to a new layer, or maybe I can duplicate the layer so that I can retain the original image. I can see a preview, like which sky is looking better here, and then I can just go ahead and use it to further into my poster. So this was in one image. Let's try on some other images as well. Okay. So here I have like this image, and if I see that it's again from Adobe stock, and here I don't like this particular sky, which is like there behind this mountains. And now if I want to like change the sky, again I'll go to the sky replacement, and maybe this time I'll choose something more dramatic. So the moment I select this, you can see that entire look and feel of this image has been changed. And earlier, like it was a very big task to go ahead, make the outlines around different complex objects and change the sky image. But now the entire thing can be done just with a click of a button. And we're already providing all those different variations, and bring in like your custom like images as well. So this was the fourth feature, which is AI based, and which could be really helpful to like change the skies and entirely change the look and feel of the image. So the next feature I want to talk about is like how we can just go ahead and crop any image. So again, like cropping an image is a big task, right? We use like not a big task, I would say. Like we can go ahead, make use of this crop tool. Maybe I have this image, and it's not looking that straight, and maybe I want to rotate it a little bit and then drag it, and maybe I like this area, right? And if I go ahead and crop it, what's the problem here? I see some white pixels to the bottom and to the right as well. So this is where, or either what other options I would have. If I want to like crop it further and make sure that it is into the boundary, then maybe and want all the pixels also to be there, I have to only like crop this area like this, right? But I do not want that. I want it to look into a different orientation, like maybe like this. But this area is causing some issues where I would have white pixels. But what like Adobe can help, like what AI based technology here we are using is this content aware. So just a note, like anywhere in Photoshop, if you see this word content aware, make sure you definitely go ahead and try it and make sure that it's checked. So this content aware is again working on an AI based algorithm where what it does is it goes ahead like analyze the images and do like work smartly. So this was a traditional way how cropping would be done by any like Photoshop image editor. But how we can enhance this further? Maybe now I want to like rotate this image, and now if I want to drag a little bit on the top as well, and this time I'm going to make sure that this content aware is checked. You'd see there is some white area, but now if I go ahead and click on this check button, you see the changes. There are no white pixels anymore, and the entire image is looking seamless. On the bottom, it was supposed to have some like white pixels, but now it is filled with this water. And on the top as well, there could have been some like white pixels on the top as well, but now it is filled with the sky. So how this is happening? If we go into the background of it, so what it is actually doing is it is going ahead and analyzing the nearby pixels. So this is where like the AI comes into the picture, the smartness and the intelligence comes into the picture. It analyzes the nearby pixel. So if I talk about this area, here it will analyze that, okay, there are clouds on this particular picture. So I have to fill this area with the clouds. There's similar kind of repeating like patterns, the patterns of the sky. Similarly, it goes for the bottom area as well. There are waters into the nearby pixels. So I have to go ahead and fill it with water. So this is where like content aware or crop comes into the picture, where we can make sure that our images are not getting distracted. We are getting more and more control. So this was the fifth feature, which was based on AI based. And next, I would like to talk about is content aware fill. So here, like I have this image, and like one of the tasks which anyone would do is just goes ahead and try to remove things from the images, right? So maybe I'm working on this particular image, and what I want to do is I want to remove people from this bridge. So here I have the people, and now what I want to do is I want to remove some of the people from this area. So how I'll do it? Again, I'll just come here, make a big selection, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that I need to make a big selection. And now I'll go to this edit menu and click on content aware fill, just a button. And you see the difference. On the right hand side, like you see that this is the how my final result is going to look like once I make use of this content aware fill. And again, like deleting the people from any composition could be like a difficult task earlier, but now I don't have to spend that kind of an effort. Automatically, like Photoshop is going ahead, it is intelligent enough to make to analyze that, okay, these are the nearby areas of it. And that's why I said that you need to make a bigger selection. Like if you see here, all the area here is into the green, and this is the area which I have selected. And what this color green means is, and why I asked to make a bigger selection here, because what we are telling Photoshop is, okay, go ahead and fill this area with some matching kind of patterns near it. So maybe like here, when I made a selection, there is some additional area here, and this area is filled with these kind of the stairs. Similarly, this green area is a kind of area which is also filled with these kind of patterns. So this is where we are trying Photoshop to, okay, you go ahead and sample the pictures from these area and put it there. And this is what happening into the background. So right now it's set to auto. So like automatically it is going ahead and filling those area with the surrounding content. So if you look over here is auto, the content similar to surrounding area is being filled. So that's what happening here. So maybe most of the surrounding area is into the green is selected at this like bridges. So that's why it is being filled. If I want, I can make other selections as well. Like I can choose rectangle, I can choose custom, or like I can go ahead and play around with these settings. I can always go ahead and output it to this new layer. Maybe I want to go ahead and apply it. So I'll go with auto because I want to do it to auto. Maybe I want to get the output on a current layer or a new layer. I will go ahead, click on apply. Now people are gone and click on OK. If I come here, select and deselect, now we see that there is no people into this area. And like if I simply come here, if I turn off this layer, so this is what the result I have got. What it has done is it has like placed that kind of repeating patterns on top of it. So people are actually there. It's just going ahead and creating those kind of like effects there. So similarly, if I go ahead and look over here, maybe what I want to do is I want to like remove this bridge, not the bridge, the ship. So again, what I will do is I'll make a bigger selection because I want this area to be filled with the nearby like pixels. And again, I'll go to edit, content aware fill. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to select this layer. Yeah. Here you can see that automatically like this particular like ship has been removed from this image, and we can't even like say that okay, there was actually a ship there and that ship was lying on this water. If I go ahead and click on apply and zoom it a little bit, you can see that. So this is how the ship, the original image, and once I make use of this content aware fill, the entire area has been filled with this water. So this is the power of like a content aware fill, where we can like remove the objects and fill it with nearby pixels. And also wanted to talk about some another feature which I missed on this select subject, which was also added. Yeah. So maybe I have this picture of this iceberg, and now what I want to do is I want to delete different areas, right? So it's about not about the content aware, but what if I just select it, click on object selection tool, and now what I want to do is I want to like clean up this image on the go, remove different objects. So I will just select it and I will click on like the delete option over here to delete this image. It will just sample the area from the background and then just go ahead and delete it. So this was about the content aware fill, where we can just go ahead and fill different areas. Just wanted to show another image. So here maybe I'm working on this bakery, and what I want to do is I just want only this area of my composition. I do not want these spread. So how I'll go ahead and fill this area with this kind of the pattern, like or the background image which we have. Again, I'll make a bigger selection here. And now what I will do is go to edit and okay, I'll just select this background image, content aware fill, and you can see these breads are these okay, these are some seafood which are gone from my like composition. And now I have a clean looking area, so it's just going ahead, analyzing it, select and deselect. Okay, and now I have a cleaner image. Maybe I want to put some additional text, additional objects. I can just go ahead and put it over here. So this was about content aware fill. And next thing I want to talk about is content aware scale. So many times we would have the images, and what we want to do is maybe we want some change this image. Like we want maybe for this image, what I want to do is I want some additional area on the right hand side so that I can go ahead and put some text on that. So how I would do it? So one way would be like maybe I'll just go ahead and increase the canvas size. So I'll just go ahead, increase the canvas size, maybe I'll change it to 9:4. So here I have added some more canvas size. Just go ahead and increase a little bit more on the right and onto the left. And now I want like this image to fit it into this kind of area. So how we'll go ahead and do it. So what like previously we could do is maybe we have to like scale the images, or and that way what will happen is it will just go ahead and just stretch it a little bit. But now what we have is we have this content aware scale. And what I mean by that is now I have this particular area, and maybe I want to like go ahead and just stretch and this image. I will select on it, select on content aware scale, and I will just go ahead and just drag this image. I can press the shift so that it's into this particular, fitting into this particular uh, area. Maybe I want to scale it more. I can just go and just scale it down. You can see like what is the happening behind this images. Automatically Photoshop is going ahead analyzing like the background image which is filled with yellow in color, and now it is adding more and more area to the left hand side and to the right hand side as well. So this is what this content aware scale is. So let's try on another image, because if we look at the original image, how that image was, there was only few area on the left hand side of this guy. But if I want to add more area on this left hand side or make it much more bigger on the right hand side, then I can make use of this content aware scale. Similarly, if I open this particular image, and here like what I want to do is maybe I'm working creating an ad for this interior design company where I have to put in these kind of pots, and maybe I want to write certain text. So first I'll go click on here and like, okay. So right now here you can see that automatically, since content aware is selected, automatically it has gone ahead and added these images, added these area. This is where I said anywhere if you see content aware, you make sure that like that particular thing is checked so that you get the advantage. But now I'll switch and I'll uncheck the content aware. And now I'll just select. Now you see that we have the white pixels. And now maybe I want to have the control and scale this image. I will just make a selection over here, go to this edit menu and click on content aware scale. And now, so if I want to like fit this area into the manual way, what I will do is I simply come here and you can see that this spot is getting scaled, right? But I do not want that, right? I just want this pot to be into the fixed position, and I just only want this background area, like this wall, to get repeated. So here I have selected it, and now I'll click on content aware scale, press the shift key, and you can see automatically this wall area is getting added and my object is intact into the place. And this is where like the content aware comes into the picture. So this was about like how we can make use of this content aware scale in order to add more and more area and make sure that our original image is not getting scaled up and we are getting enough area where we can work. And since we only have 10 more minutes, so I'll quickly jump to like neural filter. So we have added this AI-based filter within Photoshop, which is called neural filter. So there used to be a lot of filters, but here what we have is neural filter. So maybe like I have the picture of this lady, and now what I want to do is maybe I want to perform, change her age. So I will go ahead and do it. Maybe I want to make her look more and more younger. I'll come here, select a neural filter, and here, what I will do is I'll just click on the smart portrait and turn on. So here, if you could see that this filter is being processing into the cloud. So what is happening is it is going ahead analyzing this image. So maybe I want to make her more and more happy. So what I will do is I'll simply go ahead and drag this happiness slider. And this is where the processing will happen. So right now it's processing into the cloud. So it will just take some time. It will take my image and then it will like process this image and change her expression to more and more happy. Yeah, and you see the result. So immediately you could see that her more teeth are showing up. She is looking much more happy. So maybe I can come here and select OK. So and get the output onto a new layer. So, okay, so this is the image, and this is where if I turn on this age filter, so she will be looking more and more older. So if I turn it off, this is her younger, where she is more and more happy. And this is again a happy expression. So like I can make her look more older, more younger, change her expression. So a lot of capabilities are there into this particular neural filter, into this like smart portrait. If you see here, I can change the happiness. I can change the facial age as well. So once I change the facial age, it added more wrinkles to her skin. Similarly, I can change the hair thickness, eye direction, expression, like surprise or happy. So a lot of like filters are out there which you can go ahead and check it out. So this was how the smart portrait filter looked like. So just wanted to show it on another image, which I have already done just to save some time. Yeah. So again, this is a picture of this man. And here what I want to do is, this is the original image. And maybe I want to make this guy look younger. So here I have uses the young. So you can see that all those the different skin has been smoothened out. And this guy is looking more and more younger. So this is the output image. And this was the original image. Similarly, for this man, this man was looking like this, but I wanted to create a happy persona of this guy. So all I did is made him happy. And this is the final result. So this was about the smart portrait, where we can just go ahead and work on it. And similarly, like if we want to go ahead and here we have this lady, and maybe this time I want to apply different filter on her skin. So first I'll zoom it a little bit so that you can see the difference. And now what I want to do is I want to smoothen out her skin. So you can see the difference. Now her skin is smoothened out. I'll just turn it off. Once I click on smooth, there is the smoothness applied to her skin. I can go ahead, walk around with the slider and then make changes to it and output the result to a new layer. So second thing I want to talk about is landscape mixer. So we all know that okay, the Christmas is coming, and we want to maybe create some greeting cards on the Christmas. But I have this image, right? It's maybe this Christmas tree has been shot into a summertime where there is a sun and there is no snow. But can we add a snow? Now Photoshop is capable enough to add those kind of the capabilities to it based on the artificial intelligence. So here, I will select this image, go to the neural filter. And this time, what I want to do is I want to make use of this particular landscape mixer. So again, here, if you could see that there are different presets are already available, maybe summer, day, night. For this image, what I want to do is I want to make it look like it's into the winter. All I have to do is just click on this particular preset and you'll see the result. And this is how the result is going to look like. The entire scene has been changed. It is looking like this particular tree was sort into the winter season. There is more and more snow, which has been added to this particular scene. Similarly, maybe I want to choose some another preset and change the entire look and feel of this image. I can just go around, select it. Maybe I want to look at more and more into a summer state. I can select it. So if we go with this winter season, here I can decide the strength, like what could be the different parameters, how I can manipulate this. Maybe I want more snow or less snow. Maybe this kind of the effect I want where there is only less snow. I can play around with different parameters and then create the entire look and feel. So this is how my result will be looking. Here I can put this lady and make this kind of ad. So again, like this was the landscape mixer. And next thing is about the harmonization. So here, what I want to do is maybe like I have this particular girl And what I want to do is the picture of this girl is here, and I want to put it in front of like on like this particular summer background where we have the trees. But what is happening here is the tonality of this particular model is not matching with the background. So how we can do it, how we can match it with this background image? So for that, I'll make use of this another filter, which is called as harmonization. So here I'll just go ahead, select it, nothing happened. Why? Because here I have to select a layer, like from which layer. So what this filter is doing is it is actually going ahead, like picking those kind of sampling those the pixels and the tonality, and then applying it to this model. And if I select here, you can see like this is how the image is looking. Earlier it was looking something different, but now this kind of like yellowish tone has been applied. This model is looking more and more warm, and it is kind of matching with this background. So this is where the harmonization comes into the picture. Similarly, like the last filter in Photoshop I wanted to talk about is this particular image. So here what I have done is like maybe I want to blur this background. We already created it into our earlier like demo, where I just use this lady, put it into this particular room. And now what I want to do is I want to blur this background. So here, what I have done is I have just gone ahead and selected this depth blur. And now what will happen is a blur effect will be applied. So I'll just cancel it because I have already done it just to save some time. And this is the kind of effect I can get. So now it's looking more and more into this image. This lady is looking much more prominent. So this is where like the blur effect can, depth blur can really help. And then I have adjusted some color as well from that slider. Okay, so the last thing which I think could be useful for all of us could be like old photos. Maybe like we have these old photos, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that like this scratches are removed and it is much more like prominent. Like we want to restore our old photos. So again, like this filter was added recently. So here we all would have these old photos, and what we can do is we can simply go ahead, turn on the slider, and then we can adjust the photo enhancement. We can like play around with the scratch reduction. So here you can see that the photo has been enhanced, but if I drag this slider for the scratch reduction, I'll see some amazing results now. So it will just take some time. So what I have done is I have already done the processing. So this is how the final image will look like, and this is how the original image was there. So since we have only 1 minute, just wanted to point out that Photoshop is also available on web. So here, like we have Photoshop on web. So what you can do is you can make those quick tasks over the web as well if your file is saved as a cloud document. And just to let you know, we have also exposed our APIs through this Photoshop APIs. So here we have like smart object replacement, auto crop. So if you want to like apply the like do the bulk job on your images, you can just go ahead and do it. So if I want to like have a specific kind of a banner, so maybe I have this banner and there I have the image of the shoe, but I want to create different variations of it. And I do not want to open this banner into Photoshop and do one by one. So how I would do it, all I have to do is just upload this particular template, like this asset, and then upload all those objects which would be replaced. And this is how the final result will look like. So what Photoshop will API will do it will go ahead, replace those images, and then create different variations of this banner. So we are on the time. So just would take a pause here and would check if there is any question, or if you like